welcome Glenn, again, CEO Transcarent, a company that makes it easy for people to access high quality, affordable health and care. So Glenn, before we jump into the topics, is there any background you'd like to share about yourself and your company?
First of all, Amy, it's great to see you. It's great to see everyone, and always happy to join HITLAB, and so excited about that. Transcarent, the idea behind Transcarent was really simple, and that is, how do we put all of your health and care in one place that's on your phone? And as you said, how do you make it easy for people to access high quality, affordable care? In my last company at Livongo, what we learned is people will do what you make it easy for them to do. So if we could put all your health and care in one place and make it easy to access a physician in 60 seconds, find the lowest cost pharmaceuticals at a place convenient to you, schedule surgeries, get cancer care, get weight health. If we could do that all in one place, people would love it, and that's what we're finding. So really exciting to be helping in that part of the healthcare experience and transformation.
That's really impressive and fantastic. I love the notion of really putting more of the control into the hands of the consumer of the healthcare. That really is what's going to help, I think, transform and disrupt the healthcare industry in and of itself. So congrats on that. So to ask a couple questions here, how does Transcarent ensure the integration and seamless operations of your modular best-in-class ecosystem of virtual point solutions, the access to the care professionals and local facilities?
Things that we're doing is we have worked very hard at building the integrations. And I think today, if you think about the experience, everybody is exhausted with point solutions. So let's talk a very quick history. We went from being told 20 years ago, go to one place and they will figure it all out. That didn't work. So we saw more and more point solutions spring up, which added real value. Livongo was one of those for diabetes and other chronic conditions. I was just talking about Sword, another one that does great MSK, virtual digital MSK therapy. And there's more and more mental health. We see all of these. But the problem is, how do you find them if you're a consumer? And so what we've said is we're going to create an interface. We call it wayfinding. And what wayfinding does is it allows you to answer 3 questions that never have been answered together before. And they're the same questions that every American asks. And it's funny, when you talk about healthcare, you would think the first question is about whatever your issue is. I hurt my knee. You think the first question is about your knee. It's not. Most Americans say, what is this going to cost me and is it covered? So benefits navigation, that's number 1. Then once it's covered, okay, now what should I do? Should I have surgery? Should I go to a physical therapist? Clinical guidance, but it has to be trusted. That's number 2. And number 3 is, okay, fine. You told me where to go. Can you get me in? Amy, do you know anybody who can get me in there? We put all that together in one place, and then we'll connect that technology, which is powered by generative AI. We'll connect that to anybody you choose. So if you're a large employer, you've already selected 10 point solutions. Your problem is nobody can find them. They're too hard to use. What if you had one interface that made it easy to do that? And what if it cost a third or less of what all those other solutions cost today? That's what we've just introduced to the market. And so I think the whole idea of interfacing, like let's take Sword, because I mentioned them, a real leader in that space. If you said, I hurt my knee, and then we said, we'll talk to a doctor, we'll connect you real time. We connect you real time. The doctor says, you need a digital therapy solution. And then you say, and then we would say, oh, well, Sword is covered by your company. We would link you right into Sword. You don't have to log on. You don't need a separate sign on. You don't need to go to another site. You don't need to pick up your phone. You're in the app right then, right there. I mean, we've never seen this before. We spent $100 million in a year building this capability with this generative AI engine to allow us to get to where everybody's really dreamed about it.
That's fantastic. And I know that the market is hungry for solutions like this. So I think it's fantastic with the progress that you've made. When we think about these types of offerings and when we think about the HITLAB, it's all about evidence generation. And so how are you measuring and ensuring that these things are working, that they're measurable, and that they're delivering an outcome that we're all hoping for, a positive outcome?
Depends on which part of the experience you're talking about. So first and foremost, utilization, really important. So if you're an employer and you offer all these point solutions and no one's using them, there's no benefit. No one's happy about it. So first, you got to give access. So as an example, we offer care in 60 seconds. Any time of the day, 24 hours a day, you look at your phone, it looks back at you, and you say, I want to talk to a physician, and you're texting with a physician in 60 seconds or less. Nobody else has it. That does a few things. It means less ER visits because people don't go to the ER when they can talk to a physician right then and there. They get better information. They use the service more, and it costs less than traditional telehealth, which is you and I talking and seeing each other on the screen. So one, utilization is a metric. Two, satisfaction is a metric. And three, really important, did the person get better? So in my last company at Livongo, the beauty of that company was you could see where someone's blood sugar level was day 1, day 30, day 90, and a year later. And we could prove that they were healthier. And you know this business well. This is part of what you all do. Thank you very much for all the great things you do. And so we could prove that. In other parts of healthcare, it's harder to manage the effectiveness. But the two metrics are there actual quantitative and qualitative metrics that we can use? In diabetes, it's pretty easy to measure that kind of progress. And then the second one is, how does the person feel? And that's a mental health issue. If someone says, I was having a lot of mental health issues, and now I've gone to 3 or 4 therapy sessions with Spring Health, another one of our great partners, and now all of a sudden I can go back to work and I'm much more positive. Wow, well, that's success. And that's what an employer in particular wants. They say, are people going to be productive? Are they happy? Are they at work? And so, again, that's the kind of rapid access. But healthcare is an information business, and we need to do what you just asked about. We need to be able to measure the impact and the effectiveness.
That's great. And, I know we're running out of time, but just one thing I'd love to touch on is your ability through this platform to reach not just, to reach diverse populations and almost down to the individual level, which I think is really important when we think about health equity and the need to close some of those gaps.
Yeah, I think, and I've said this before, I think the great equalizer in healthcare is going to be technology. If you think about, go back hundreds of years, and only people who could afford to buy a book could buy a book, and there was a printing press, and that revolutionized things, and more people could get books. Then we made books more accessible through free libraries. Amazing innovation. But today, anybody in the world has access to information with a phone or a computer. Anybody in the world, the same access through Google. Imagine now in healthcare in underserved areas, whether they be inner city or rural. And we think of those as so different, and yet they have the exact same problems. Lack of access to high quality care. Now, all of a sudden, through a phone, you can talk to any expert, and through our system in 60 seconds. So a lot of the companies we work with, because right now we're focused on large companies, but their workforce is no longer everybody works in one place. Companies are so spread out today How do you get them consistent, great care? Well, imagine saying to every one of your employees, you now and your family, wherever they are, they have access to care in 60 seconds. You can tell them where they can get the lowest cost medication. And we partner with a number of folks to do a search to say, here's where you can get that, whether it's mail order, whether it's picking it up at Walgreens or CVS or your local pharmacy, wherever. Here's what you do if you have an injury of some sort. Where is the best place to get that care? And then managing weight health or managing cancer, all of those things, giving people access wherever they are. That's what technology, that's the magic of technology. Yeah. And by the way, today we talk about the US, but I think this is a worldwide market to say if you're an expert, anybody in the world should have access to you. And they now do through a combination of teleservices, what we used to call telehealth, and navigating that through wayfinding.
Well, Glenn, thank you so much. We could probably talk for hours on this, but we do need to go, and I went over a little time on that. But thank you so much for sharing and the success of what you're doing at Transcarent.
Well, thank you. And yes, we need out. They only gave us this much time. That's crazy. Thank you for your time.
There'll be more opportunities.
We'll look forward to following up. I know. Thanks so much. Thanks to everyone. Have a great day. Good conference.